I've been sober for 365 days from smoking weed. February 15th, 2024 was the day that I finally, after 2+ years of trying to quit. I started smoking when I was 12. I've been smoking for 7+ years. Finally, I can sit here and say with confidence, with just being proud about what I've been able to accomplish. I can sit here and say I have been sober for 365 days from smoking weed. And it has drastically changed my life. I can't even begin to tell you how much has changed, not just about my body and my mental health and the eating and how I sleep and things like that, but also just my surroundings, who I surround myself with, right? Who am I allowing into my circle? What do I do? Who am I? I wasn't really able to analyze anything. I wasn't really enjoying anything when I was smoking all the time because I was always so worried about when the fuck am I going to get high next? When am I going to get high next? That was my only focus. That was my purpose during high school. When am I going to get high next? That's what I cared about. I'm literally sitting outside. I'm at my friend's house in Florida. We decided to take a trip. It's beautiful. We got the lake. We got the trees. It's 70 degrees. It's 20 degrees in New Jersey where I'm at. And I can sit here right now. And when I was high, I never gave a shit about nature. I never gave a shit about the sun or about, going outside or just going on walks. Literally ever since I stopped smoking, I've been way more entertained with a lot of just natural things in life. Like just going outside for a little bit. Taking a walk with my friends, going places, traveling. I've been so much more locked in on just so many different things which have stemmed from me quitting. And this is going to be a raw video. There's going to be a few cuts here and there, of course, but this is not going to be a heavily edited video. This is just going to be me talking. I want to tell you guys a few things. What changes? There are things that change for some people. There are things that will not change for some people. Some of these things that I will say will not change for you. And a lot of them will for some people. It just depends on who you are. And there are also a few things in here that will not change if you are not willing to make the change yourself. Once you get sober, now you have a choice to make. How do you want to live your life? Just because you got sober does not mean your life is just going to magically turn around. You have to do things as well. You have to actively look to continue to change. And that only happens if you put your head down and really look at yourself and just find something that you want to do. I want to start with something that isn't about mind, that isn't about, your body and how it literally affects your body. I want to talk about your surroundings. I want to talk about how different your surroundings can be. They might just change like you've never seen. I've had a few friends. I've lost over 10, 15 friends the past year just from not smoking weed. I've had people cut me off because I stopped smoking weed. You know how insane that is? They didn't want to hang out with me because I didn't have anything to benefit them anymore. The only thing that I had was weed. And because I didn't have the weed, they didn't want to be with me. You're going to notice a lot of people don't really like you. Especially if you have a large group of friends, you might notice that a lot of the people that you were hanging out with aren't really your friends. They aren't really your friends. A lot of people that you hang out with in the past that you're still hanging out with, maybe you are getting sober right now. Maybe you've been sober for a few weeks or even just a few months or even like 100+ days. You're going to start to notice that a lot of the people that you hung out with, you don't even enjoy really hanging out with them anymore. I had my one friend that I just cut off, and I didn't want to cut him off because he was trying to quit. I would drive this kid back and forth to rehab. I would take this kid so many places. I would drive him back and forth to AA meetings. I would take him back and forth to rehab centers. I would drive this kid everywhere to get him help, especially when he was looking to quit. I would help him with smoking less. I would stop driving him places to help him stop smoking. I would do whatever I could. Like I said, I was taking him wherever the hell I could. But at the end of the day, he never was able to get himself to quit. He was never able to get himself to quit. And on Halloween, him and a few friends came in my car. I decided to drive because I was going to be the only sober one. I drove them all around. He got too high. He got too drunk. And him and his 3 other friends threw up, fought, and basically destroyed my car. And this is after, I don't know how many times I've tried to help this kid, like I just said. I have given this kid the benefit of the doubt for the past 250+ days, easily. And ever since I quit smoking, I was hanging out with this kid, and I would realize all we're doing, or all he's doing, is smoking in his room, and we're playing video games. I don't even play video games like at all anymore, and I don't smoke anymore. So I'm literally hanging out with him just because he's my boy, but I don't even enjoy hanging out with him. And it's not anything personal. It's just the fact that I've changed so much from when I stopped smoking and I started hanging out with so many different people, that person that I used to be with all the time, I just don't want to anymore. You're going to realize that a lot of the people that you hang out with, you don't really like hanging out with them anymore. They do things that you don't feel like benefit you. They do things that you don't feel like are going to help you in the long run. And you shouldn't have friends for them to help you in the long run. You should be friends because you enjoy each other's company, because you're boys, you have things in common, because you've been friends for a long time. The list goes on and on and on, right? You shouldn't just, be friends with someone because they're going to help you in the long run. But with that being said, you also want to have a group and a circle around you that is going to push you in the right direction. I had 2 groups. I have the group that I'm with right now, that I'm on this trip with. All we've been doing this whole trip is working. We've just been doing work. Work, work, and work. We've been eating healthy. We've been playing soccer and going to the gym and enjoying the weather. I went on a trip with my other friend group a few months ago, right? What do you think they did? Went out to clubs, partied, drank, smoked. And I'm not saying that you can't have fun. I'm just saying that who you surround yourself with is going to dictate how you live your life. Because if you don't believe me, trust me, if you stay around that group for too long and you're trying to do something that they don't necessarily understand, or they can't comprehend, or they just don't want to, you are going to get roped back into it. I got roped back into it for 2 years until I finally just, I said enough was enough and changed. Surround yourself with people who are going to just help push you in the right direction. Change your surroundings. That is what's changed so much for me. Just my overall surroundings. But it's not all just about surroundings, right? I want to talk about the mental. I want to talk about the physical. I want to talk about the financial. When we start with the financial, actually, I don't think you truly understand how much money you are wasting and spending on weed, on drugs, on pills, on alcohol, whatever it is. I don't truly think you understand. I've been smoking for 7+ years. I've got to spend in the medium 5 figures just on drugs. I can't even tell you how much money on drugs. My investment portfolio could be like 100 times bigger than what it is right now, because I've spent 30, 40, whatever, 40K, whatever, how much money I've spent on drugs over the past 7 years. I could have saved up all that money from working. I could have had all this money. Where is it? In some dispensary, at the plug's house, at the liquor store. All of it is gone. You are going to save so much money that you might not even understand what to do with it. You're going to look at your bank account and you're going to sit there and be like, damn, where the hell did all this money coming from? Where's all this money coming from? And it's coming from the fact that you're just not smoking anymore. It's coming from the fact that you're just not drinking anymore. It's coming from the fact that you're just not doing anything stupid anymore. It's coming from the fact that you now understand that there are bigger things in life than just smoking every damn week. I'm talking from experience. I'm not just telling you this just to tell you this. I'm telling you this because I've done it. I'm an underage kid who's done all the drugs in the world. I don't know how many fucking pills I've popped. I don't know how much weed I've smoked. I don't know how much alcohol I've drank. I can't even tell you how many drugs I've done. And I just turned 20 in November. I can't even tell you how many drugs I've done. I can't even tell you how much money I've wasted. But I can tell you this, it wasn't fucking worth it. It wasn't worth it. But even though it wasn't worth it, I'm happy it happened. Because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be sitting here right now making this video. I wouldn't be here telling you this stuff. I wouldn't be here trying to just express myself on this video. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't go through it. But I could very easily have not stopped. I could very easily be in that same position I was in. Financial struggle. Just smoking all the time, bad environment, failing in school, whatever you name it. I've done it. I was terrible. I was failing in high school because I was smoking so much and drinking and worried about the wrong thing. Eating 20,000 calories a day of goldfish because I didn't care because I was smoking all the time. I was always so hungry. Spending money on food now because of that. The financial repercussions that you're going to have from smoking and that you're going to see change after you stop is night and day. It's night and day. Let's talk about the mental stuff. Let's talk about the feeling. You probably came for this. You want to know how it feels. How different is it? I said in the first video I ever made on this series of being sober, at the end I stated that I felt like I was living in a third person, right? I felt like I was not living in my own body. I felt like I was viewing myself from the back of my head. That's what I feel like when I'm smoking all the time. I don't feel present. I don't feel present when I'm smoking all the time. I don't feel like I'm living my own life. I felt like things were just so different. And when I compare it to right now, after a year, bro, it is night and day. I wake up and the first thing that I feel is just more alive. I'm not as tired anymore when I wake up. I know a lot of people say that when they smoke, you kind of smoke and you smoke before you go to sleep and it helps you wake up. And I understand that. I do. And when you first stop, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse probably. But over time, you're going to become less reliant and eventually just not even use it to sleep because you don't need it to sleep. At the end of the day, if you smoke and sleep, you're literally not getting enough, I think, deep or REM sleep, whatever it is, because your brain is still active with THC in your system. So you may feel like you slept a lot, but you didn't actually sleep a lot because you're just smoking so much. And when you wake up feeling good and you crash earlier, you're going to wonder why. And you wake up and you're starving and it's 7 in the morning and the first thing you do is you eat, I don't know how many calories of food, and then you smoke right after you eat and then you eat more, you're going to feel like shit. But when you take a step back and you stop smoking and you stop smoking before you go to sleep and you stop smoking all the time, even when you just start toning it down a lot, you start to realize that you just feel more present in your life. You begin to like a lot of different things. For myself, I'm literally sitting outside in the sun. It's 70 degrees. It's maybe 11 a.m. I haven't even eaten yet. I'm just enjoying the weather with the lake behind me and the palm trees. And I'm just out here living. I'm feeling fucking great. I'm feeling amazing. When I was high, and this is actually not true for a lot of people. A lot of people, when they smoke and they do a lot of drugs, they like to be outside in nature. They like to go outside and do a bunch of things. I've met a lot of people that are like that. But I was never like that. I literally found that more after I stopped smoking because I just have more time and I crave a different type of high. The high I get from this and being outside in this weather, the high I get from playing soccer, the high I get from going on walks, the high I get from just doing anything that just feels good to me is so much better and healthier than the high you're ever going to get just from fucking smoking. A lot of people, although they like to come outside, they like to enjoy the weather, they also feel confined. A lot of people feel confined. A lot of people I know also stay inside. They don't go outside. They don't care about the weather. They don't care about anything. They want to be inside and smoke and watch YouTube all day and do all this other stuff. And I'm telling you, that was me. And it's not healthy. And it's not beneficial. You're going to see when you stop smoking that there's just so much more to life than just being high, than just being drunk. There's so much more to life than just doing the little things. The little things like smoking and drinking. There's so much more to life than just being high all day. There's so much more to life than just being high. A lot of people, when they smoke, they tend to not be able to eat unless they smoke. They have to smoke before they eat because they can't get the food down unless they're high. Or they're not hungry unless they're high. Or maybe some people just eat so much food because they smoke all the time. You may fall into one of those categories. Maybe you don't fall into any of them. For myself, I was the second. I can't even tell you how much food I would eat. I told you about the goldfish and the crackers and the carbs. I wasn't eating any protein. I wasn't eating anything healthy. All it was processed mini pizzas, processed chicken tenders with what? With tortilla chips and goldfish and pretzels. That was my daily intake. Literally, that's what I was eating when I was smoking all the time. I didn't give a flying fuck about my health. I didn't give a flying fuck about what I was putting in my body. And why should I have? Why should I have? I was smoking all the time anyway. I was doing all the other drugs. I didn't give a shit about what I ate. I didn't care. I'm not necessarily telling you that things are going to change drastically once you stop smoking, but what I am going to tell you is that you are slowly going to gain your appetite back in a natural manner. When you go on a run or when you're playing a sport, you're going to be hungry after. When you wake up in the morning, maybe you're a little bit hungry. But what you're not going to see is that you're not going to be hungry 24/7 anymore. And it may take some time. But because you're not smoking anymore, you're not going to get the munchies all day. You're not going to eat every 3 seconds. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people that I saw that smoked, they were either skinny or they were fat. I kid you not, I literally saw none of the in between. I'm talking about stoners here. I'm talking about full-blown smokers. I'm not talking about once-a-week smokers. I'm not talking about once-a-month smokers. I'm talking about multiple times a day smokers. They are either overweight or severely underweight. And a lot of them have eating disorders. You're more than likely going to see a change in your appetite. You're going to see a change in how frequently you eat. And you might even start to see that you want to eat differently in general. I'm talking about healthier foods. You may want to fill yourself up more with things that are better. And that also comes from surrounding yourself with people that do that. A lot of the things here connect. There's a lot more, of course. There's so much stuff. But I want you to understand. Yes, you may see all this stuff happening. Yes, you may experience all these things. You may experience none of these things. I have no clue. Everybody is different. But what I will tell you, what I said in the beginning, is nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing will change if you don't take the time and you don't put in the effort to make a change yourself. Even if you stop smoking, you need to do extra steps to make sure that you are not going to fall back into those steps again. You need to take extra steps to understand that things are going to take time to normalize. You are going to need to take extra steps to understand that you are the one who has to change your life. Not your friends, not your family, not any of this stuff. You have to make the decision yourself. If you want to change to a certain degree, you have to do it yourself. No one is here to necessarily help you along your journey. Yes, people will give you insights. Yes, people will help you here and there, but no one is here necessarily just to help you. At the end of the day, it's you versus you. It's you versus your mind. What is your mind telling you, and what should you do? What does your mind want you to do? What does your body crave? And what do you actually have to do? What do you want to do? What should you do? It's all up here. Everything is mental. This whole thing is mental. Quitting weed is mental. It's a game. It's a mental game. People sit here and say, oh, you can't get addicted to weed. Yes, the fuck you can. Whoever says that is just fucking stupid. Whoever says that is just dumb. Honestly. If you think that you can't get addicted to weed, you are just incorrect. You are incorrect. Flat out incorrect. I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you from other people that I've seen. I'm telling you from rehab centers I've been to. I'm telling you from AA meetings I've been at. People get addicted to weed just the same way they get addicted to other drugs. The same way. Maybe you don't get addicted to it, but I'm telling you right now, a lot of people do. But you have to make the effort to change. So fill up your time with stuff. You have to just fulfill your time with other activities. You can't just be, if you were just smoking and playing video games all day and you were in a certain location, maybe that location you were in is going to trigger your emotions and your feelings that, hey, I want to smoke right now. I want to smoke right now. Get yourselves into different areas. If you're always smoking in your room while you're laying down watching YouTube, and you're laying down in your room watching YouTube and you have this urge to smoke, and you end up hitting up the plug and he comes and buys and you get a card from him, right? You should know for next time that you probably shouldn't do that. Maybe go somewhere else. You need to, first things first is you need to uninstall Telegram. You need to unadd all your plugs. Get rid of any access that you have to getting weed, especially if you're underage, even if you're overage and you have plugs. Get rid of any source that you have to get weed. Make it as hard as possible for you to get weed. If that's your friends, it might just have to be your friends. You might just have to cut off your friends. I'm not saying forever, but you might just have to cut them off for a little bit. Get rid of Telegram. Get rid of Snapchat if you have to. Get rid of anything that allows you to buy weed. And put yourselves in situations that will make you not feel like you want to smoke all the time. Do other things. For me, it's soccer. I enjoy playing soccer because when I go and play soccer, I have this natural high that I get that I stated before. And it's a high that I only get from playing soccer. And that's an area where I never smoked before. And that's a place where I don't feel like I ever will smoke. Put yourself in situations where you don't feel like you're going to smoke all the time. Get all these fucking apps and these people that you have access to that have weed or anything. Get them off of your phone. Just get them away from you as far as possible. And the biggest thing is that this is not an overnight thing. This took me 2 years. It took me 2 years just to get sober for a year. So 3 years, really. It took me 2 years to actually get sober for good. This is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to happen in a day, not going to happen in a week, not going to happen in a month. It might not even happen in a year. But if you just surround yourself with good people and you start creating good habits, maybe it will be quicker for you than it was for me. But just understand that this is not something that is going to happen overnight. It is not something that's going to happen overnight. You know, it's just a game, man. Once you really think about it, it's just a game. It really is just a game. And it all falls onto you and how you want to play it. So I wish every single person here luck in their journey if they're trying to quit whatever drugs they're trying to quit. I want you to understand that maybe a lot of the things that I said here may not happen for you. And maybe there's another YouTube video that you watch where things that person says might happen for you instead. Maybe everything I said happens to you. Maybe a bunch of different things happen to you. I don't know. I can't tell you. All I can tell you is that it's going to take you time. That if you want to do it, you got to put your mind to it. You got to commit to it. And you got to make the sacrifices that you're willing to make to get yourself into a position where you can be happy and you can look at yourself in the mirror and be like, damn, I just did that. That was me. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. I wish every single person here luck. I wish you all peace and prosperity. I wish everyone good financial status. I wish everyone the best. Good luck.